This article about Robert F. Smith is almost a month old, but I think it's worth discussing and capturing in a video, so that's what I'm going to do now. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar. This is Big Discussions 76, my original channel. First of all, please like this video, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel. Well, again, and I probably sound like a broken record, over here now on this channel, I discuss general topics, current events, thoughts of the day, money-related issues, education, those kinds of things. And, you know, one of my core messages is reading. Reading is important, and reading unlocks doors and opens us up to going to new places, both mentally and literally. So I get a subscription of the Washington Post, though with all of the projects I have going on now, I don't always have the chance to read it when I get it on Sunday mornings, so it oftentimes sits there in the corner, unfortunately, and I've actually considered stopping my subscription, but when I do take a look inside the paper, oftentimes I do find good stories that are worth discussing, and stories which are very, very educational. So in this particular issue of the Washington Post, this is from June 28th, 2020. So as I said in the intro, this is almost a month old, but it's worth discussing nonetheless. So this article involves Robert F. Smith, and it is entitled Helping Black Businesses Through Crisis. Billionaire investor Robert F. Smith has made it possible for thousands of minority-owned companies to receive aid during pandemic. And this was written by Keith L. Alexander. So I'm not going to read this article verbatim. If I can find the link online, which I probably can, because the Washington Post puts their articles online, or the Associated Press does, wherever they get their articles from. Sometimes their articles come from another source. But if I can find the link, I'll put it in the description box below so you can read it for yourself. But I do have some points here on my notepad that I jotted down. So if you're unfamiliar with Robert F. Smith, he made news about a year or so ago when he was the keynote speaker at Morehouse College, and he pledged to pay the student loans of that graduating class. That caused some controversy because Mr. Smith has a white wife. His second wife is white. So even though he did this great and generous thing, he was still highly criticized because of his second marital choice. Mr. Smith is a STEM guy, just like me, and he took the knowledge that he had of science, because when you learn the sciences, you also learn critical thinking skills. I believe he's a chemical engineer by training, and then he took that knowledge and then he leveraged that in the business world and created the company, I hope I don't mess this up, Vista Equity Partners. If I've messed that up, I will put up the proper subtitle in this video, or I'll leave the proper title of it in the description box below. But he created his own company, and he created a fortune, and he got criticized for his marital choice, even though even despite this act of generosity. So in the article, As a businessman, it says that business people are always watching the trends and watching to see what's going on and what's happening around the globe. And it says in this article that as early as January, he saw what was happening with COVID over in China, and he started predicting that it would come over here. And, once it started taking its stranglehold on our country and our economy, Mr. Smith started thinking about black-owned businesses and black-owned companies, and he started reaching out to people who he thought could help these black-owned businesses and these black-owned companies. And one of the people that he tapped was Ivanka Trump. So it turns out that when the Congress and the president first passed the CARES Act, there were individuals and companies that knew how to get in there quickly and get that money. And some of the smaller black businesses who needed access to those funds to stay afloat didn't get that first wave. But it turns out that Robert F. Smith, he contacted Ivanka Trump and other members of the government and said, hey, this is something that we need to do. We need to, for the next rounds of this funding, we need to make sure that small black businesses and minority businesses can get access to those funds. Now, some people would question the use of the word minority because that can mean any number of things. But after reading this article, I think that his intent was to make sure that black businesses got a piece of that money. Now, I have not done the homework to determine how many black businesses have gotten those funds and how many black businesses have gotten access to the economic relief that our government has been dispersing. But I thought that this article was significant because it shows that even though he was besmirched, he's acting on behalf of his people. And even though he has a wife who was non-black, he is still thinking about how to help his people and to strengthen his people. And in this instance, during this Black Swan event, which is COVID-19. So I thought that was significant that he's still, beyond his act of generosity at Morehouse, he's still trying to help out the community at large through providing relief to these businesses. Also, it is in part being done with the Trumps or the help of at least one of the Trumps. I think that's significant. And, with all of the projects that I have going, I don't have time to follow every little piece of the news cycle, but I don't remember hearing about this. And I think that with this being an election year, it's important to keep in mind pieces of news like this, particularly when you hear negative things about certain politicians. I'll just say that. You need to keep things like this in mind and just remember that individuals like Mr. Smith are out advocating for black businesses, and that one of the people who he sought to collaborate with was Ivanka Trump. And she was impressed with what he did at Morehouse College. So there are several takeaways here. But I'm just thinking about this right now. There is something to be said for establishing and growing black businesses. And once you build your own wealth and your own enterprises, you can in different ways impact certain situations like this, and you can affect situations like this for your own people. So I'm going to stop this video here. Again, this wasn't talked about widely. I don't remember hearing much about this, but it's important that stories like this get out so that people are thinking about this during the election cycle and also just throughout the year. So again, I'm going to leave this article in the description box below if I can find it online. Please let me know what you think in the comments section below. Please like this video, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel. And as always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Take care, and I'll talk to you the next time. Bye-bye.